Welcome to the X Dr. Tommy O Show. The X Dr. Tommy O Show takes a comprehensive, holistic approach to our community needs. Today's show, we have a wonderful panel that I brought back. The panel that I have here brings a lot of energy to the show. We've had shows in the past where the response was phenomenal. Today's show is Public Safety Part 2. Can't we get along? I'd like to introduce our panel. To my near right, Bishop Burkett. Welcome to the X Dr. Tommy O Show.
Welcome again and again. But this is a great time for all of us, and we're going to have we're going to have a nice show. We want you to stay right with us. We're going to show you how you can get along. And this is who else?
Yes, to my far right, I'm bringing back a third, fourth, fifth time. I'm not sure how many times. At least three times. Eddie Roach. He's a close friend of mine. We've been working together for almost 10 years now. Eddie Roach is a physician assistant as well as a Sunday school instructor. Eddie, welcome to the X Dr. Tommy O Show.
Thanks for having me back, Dr. Tommy O. It's great to be back in Church Alive, and I do, again, like I said the last time, I always feel exceptionally alive here on Church Alive. So again, thank you so much for inviting me back.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's important because when you have good chemistry, and every time I have a show, I always like to thank the people who've helped me, and I always thank Bishop Burkett and Church Alive for giving me the opportunity to have the show. It's important to give back and show respect, and not only to show respect for the show, but this is the church that this is God's house, but it's the house that Bishop Burkett has built. And he's given us the opportunity to have multiple shows here, and tonight's show, again, he gave us the opportunity to make a difference. Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Well, I'm proud of you, Dr. Tommy O, because folks don't know, but Dr. Tommy O was my physician, and he keeps me young. Folks don't want to know 70 years old, but as Dr. Tommy O keeps me mindful of the things I do, checks my pressure up and down and heart rhythm and all that, and it's allowed me to become more conscious of my health. And also, he's a member of Church Alive, and he ministers to many of our members, especially our senior citizens. Folk, I'm blessed to have Dr. Tommy O as a member of Church Alive.
Well, before we get into the show, let's talk about, you just had the 70th birthday at Tavern on the Green. That was a wonderful show. How many people showed up?
150 people on the green.
That's it. We had a wonderful time. We had your family members there. Yeah. Your son and his wife, they were playing for us. We had a lot of dignitaries that came in from out of the country, out of the state to make a difference.
They did. Mm-hmm.
So it was important. There's a lot of energy there. We also had, I called them on, you can see the pictures on my website, but I called them the Fab Four. And these are gentlemen that you grew up with who played stickball in the streets, and you grew up together and you all made a difference. I know there's a professional basketball player who played for the Knicks.
Cal Ramsey, that's right.
And a couple other professionals who were involved, who are business owners and so forth. So you could see that the richness goes many generations, that your family has made a difference in our community, and we're here together today again to make a difference by offering education, and we're going to deal with coping skills. And part one was dealing about gun violence. Part two is going to deal about how us three as professionals are going to make a difference in our community, and how in our each discipline, how we address it. So I'm going to start off with Eddie. Now, you're a Sunday school teacher as well as a physician assistant. We work together as physicians, working as clinicians. But in your Sunday instruction, how do you approach your students in coping with violence and anger?
Well, first of all, let me take the opportunity right now. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the invitation. I'm still waiting for you.
Well, I got to apologize to you, and certainly I'm going to make it up to you. Okay, because you're one of those folk who I really would have wanted to be there.
I'm going to hold you at that, Bishop
Okay,
Burkett. The answer to your question, Dr. O'Brien, how do we teach the kids, I believe, the coping skills, and how do we deal with anger and so forth? Well, first of all, I create a loving atmosphere in my classroom. When the kids come in, that's the first objection, is I tell the kids that we are a loving family here, and that sets a precedent for a total, in my opinion, a relaxation technique, where the kids can sit back and relax and so forth. Then how I the way I manage it is usually I will start with the first kid, some kid that I may actually realize that, look, he doesn't look too happy here today, something's bothering him.
Right.
And then usually what I do is I'll do a one-on-one with the kid and find out. Usually the problem doesn't start here. The problem has started all the way back there somewhere. And even psychiatry, they'll tell you that whenever there's a problem, the problem didn't start here, the problem started all the way back. As a matter of fact, I remember speaking to a psychiatrist one time, and he said, Ed, look, in order to get an answer to something up here, sometimes you have to go all the way back to the great-great-grandparent, because as you can tell, it trickles down through the family. So again, I think what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of these kids come in and they have what we call this low self-esteem. So the question is, well, what's causing this low self-esteem? Where has this low self-esteem come from? And that's where we focus in on. Ask them questions. It's just simple one-on-one questions. And again, just draw it out nice and slowly. And by giving them the answers to their problems, that's how we create this, what we call this safe environment, because what you take out of my classroom, you take it home, and then they end up presenting it to their family.
Right.
And I've had reports where actually, I think one time a director came to my classroom one day and said to me, oh my God, Mr. Roach, I just had 8 phone calls about you, what's going on? So I said, 8 phone calls about me, what are you talking? Oh no, she says, they were all compliments. They love the way that the kids are coming home and they're responding, well, Mom, when I talk to Mr. Roach about this, Mr. Roach tells me this and Mr. Roach tells me that, and when I feel badly about myself, well, what's causing the badness? And again, that's basically, that's how I run my classroom. Like I tell them, it's one big, happy, loving family. Nobody needs to feel badly about themselves about being here. And again, like I said, that's basically where it comes from the anger and the hatred. Right. Like I said, it just doesn't happen. It's a build-up of something. And again, the original concept actually comes from the low self-esteem, and they can just tear a person apart. And I'll move it back to you.
You said something about the phone call coming, and you expected a bad call, or you.
Right. I was totally.
What made you feel? Because that's a factor with relationships. Sometimes we do good and we're doing good. Because I know I do a lot of work with immigration, and I get clients call, and sometimes they'll call on the phone and say, "Can I speak to Dr. Burkett?" And I'll say, "What do they want?" You know what I mean? Because I figure they're going to come off angry, and why didn't I get my green card or what like that. And it bothers me that I can't just go pick up that phone and say, "How you doing? What do we want?" So we've probably created an anticipation of a bad situation. Am I correct?
Well, in a sense, but I guess what happened was this the way when the director enters your classroom. My first response was, "Oh my God, what's Mrs. Bader doing here?" It's the class seems to be going fine. The kids seem to be ever so relaxed. Right. And when she told her, "Oh, by the way, Mr. Roach, I had 8 phone calls about you." And my first thing was like 8 phone calls. Right. So, but again, like as I said, I didn't automatically assume, "Oh my God, these are bad phone calls."
The point that I was getting at is that we have a problem of not. We haven't complimented each other so much. Right. This is a universal. Really, very few times do people compliment you. Even when I'm on the elevator and someone says to me, "Oh, that's a very nice suit you get on," I don't know how to react to it. Right. Because normally I'm waiting for them to